up. It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 70 of Frameskip, a video game podcast. I am one of your hosts, George Loftus, and I'm joined by a very special assembly of some of my favorite people. Joining me through the magical wonder that is the Internet, we've got Austin, the man who puts the hot in Hotlanta, Austin Eller. How's it going,
bada bing,
Austin?
Bada boom. How's it going, George? What's up?
Yeah, getting ready for that Many Saints of Newark movie, baby?
You
Is that what
know
the Bada
it.
Bing was? Yeah.
You know it. Perfect.
Such a Sopranos head. Yeah.
Austin, have you ever heard of this film before right now?
No.
I didn't think so.
Oh, man. That makes me feel old that you're not.
There's so much going on with that movie. Oh my God. I'm like geeked out to hell for it.
Yeah, we were all in college by the time Austin was born, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I never went to college. Joke's on you.
Neither did I. Joke's on me.
Also joining me is Elijah, the ladies' man Steele.
Happy September 28th. 25 years ago today, the outbreak happened in Raccoon City.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. September 28th was when Resident Evil 3 took place in 1996. It came out in 98, but it took place in 96 because of the first game.
Very cool. Most cool things came out in 98, but took place in 96. So that
was when I was born. I was born during the zombie
Pandemic.
invasion. Yeah.
Classic.
Outbreak, baby.
Checks out. Also joining us, a voice you probably haven't heard in a minute. We got Kyle the Coach Newman. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing a hell of a lot better today than I was a week ago. Let's put it that way.
Hey, that's the spirit.
Wait, is it Coach the Kyle Newman? Is that his name?
I didn't know he had a real name.
It's the coach, Kyle Newman. That's the
Okay.
order. That's the order.
By mistake. I don't host very often.
I'm officially calling him Coach the Kyle Newman from now on.
Coach
now.
the Kyle Newman.
Coach Newman.
Coach, congratulations on your Cowboys just absolutely destroying the Eagles.
You know, finally, it's like we get a game where it's not stressful, you know? Like once we got that pick six, then it was like, okay, I could like breathe easy.
Yeah, you won that game in the second quarter. Yeah.
I took my jersey off before halftime.
Yeah, sorry.
But
Elijah.
I do want to say yesterday it was official. I got pulled off the list to deploy.
Oh.
Let's go, baby.
So I am not leaving.
Gabagool, baby.
Yes. So I'm excited, relieved. I got to find a new house, but I'm excited and I'm relieved.
That's great. And you get to stay with your kids, keep on coaching in the free world.
Well, I'm not coaching right now.
Coaching mathematics.
But yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. All right. And you might have heard a fifth voice, right? Mathematically. Yeah, that's fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a name that has been mentioned on this podcast several times. One of my all-time favorite people, one of my very best friends. We got Fabio. Fabio Santana is joining us.
Hi. That's a really nice intro, George. Thank you.
Hey, yeah.
He is very good at that.
Fabio and I first met back in, I want to say it was 2013, right? At E3.
Oh, who knows time anymore, George? We've
Yeah,
forgotten about years since.
I think it was E3 2013. We were both writing for a website back then, and people needed a place to stay while they were attending the event, and I offered up my floor, and been pretty inseparable ever since. I love Fabio.
Yeah, some
Talked to him
people
on the
were
phone a
homeless in
bunch.
LA and needed a place to stay. That was me. Yeah, so that's how George and I met, and it's really nice to meet the rest of y'all. We're here to talk about The Sopranos, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yep, that's this podcast.
Frameskip, the Sopranos
Perfect.
podcast. Yeah.
I think the story of how George and I met is probably my favorite story ever, just because it was through a PlayStation Vita group.
Whoa,
Yeah.
deep cuts.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yep.
I think I'm still an admin of that group, by the way.
I know, I sure am. Like 2
Yeah,
weeks
I
ago,
love
there
that
was like somebody requested to join the group. I'm like, I think it still exists. Why?
Well, we have been brought together this week to talk about video games, to talk about how much we love them, how much we think they're pretty, how much we enjoy talking to and about them. But before that, I gotta ask you guys something. Hold on, I forgot to look this up before I got here, so I'm very sorry for being so unprofessional right now.
That's okay.
I
I'll
just
fill
whipped out
time.
my Vita. I love my Vita still. I lost my copy of Chinatown Wars on DS and went crazy
great
looking
game.
for it one night and couldn't find it. So I just downloaded it on Vita instead. And apparently the Vita downloads at like 3 kilobytes per second. So I didn't play it that night, but man, Vita's still a great system.
Also, that sentence did not end how I expected, and I am very happy about that.
I don't know where it was going in your head, but I like it.
Well, usually when someone says they whip something out, I'm just... But
Yeah, I don't talk about like that.
Is that
about
a-
my Vita? Though.
Is that a PlayStation Vita, or are you
Very
just happy
personal.
to see me?
No, it's a Vita.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see you. I'm just
dual Annies on the front, baby. That's how you know it's a Vita.
I'm just glad George wasn't, or I wasn't the only one, because George said that fifth voice in my head. I'm like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, 5.
I had to count. It's confusing. I'm so dumb and bad at math. Sorry, I was looking up a question that we got to the Frameskip Pod. At Frameskip Pod, since Purple Bird 616, that's me, usually starts the podcast off on something other than video games anyway. I thought I'd direct a question or suggestion for him to talk about for next week. George, have you ever seen the Friday Night Lights TV series? I have. I absolutely adore the first season. I think it is borderline perfect television because it is just so stupidly dramatic, so dramatically lit, and it's basically just explosions in the sky soundtrack the entire time. It's absolutely incredible. I wanted to open this up and I wanted to ask you guys what some of your favorite TV shows to binge are. Oh, sorry. That question was from Alden Townsend. Alden, thank you so much for your question. But my esteemed panel, what shows do you binge?
I saw the first 6 episodes of that series, and it was super good, and then just got distracted.
Go back.
I will go first. I'm actually binging a show right now that I find very bingeable, which is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
I'm watching for the first time, and I'll just put it on, and like 3 hours later, we're like, oh, okay, what happened?
That was going to be one of mine. That is one of my favorite shows to fall asleep to. I've watched it, no joke, 5 times since the pandemic started. Like through every episode. It's just background noise.
I've also learned, and this is kind of a strange one, but I can easily binge watch The Haunting of Hill House.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong?
Jeez.
Are they doing a 3rd season this year?
So at the moment, no. Mike Flanagan has plans for, because technically, Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor aren't connected in any way. They're not technically seasons of a show, but it's more of just the Haunting series, kind of like
Right.
American Horror Story. So he has plans, but there's nothing official right now. That's why they moved on to Midnight Mass, which is fantastic, I'll say.
Well, I was
halfway
pleasantly surprised with last year's.
Bly Manor.
Yeah, and it's the same actors.
Yeah.
So, is it the same director?
Yep, Mike Flanagan. He did these 3 seasons. He also did Dr. Sleep.
3.
The new show Midnight Mass. It's super good. Kind of the same style in a way. Like there are 7 episodes. I'm only on episode 4 right now, and they're finally getting to the supernatural focus of the show. But I will say, episode 3, I think there deserves to be an award or 2 in there when it comes time for whatever award ceremonies for TV. I don't even know anymore. But there needs to be one for that episode for an actor or 2. Because I actually had to pause the episode and was like, wow.
Man, I was so crossfaded when I watched that show, and I don't remember anything about it. We watched, a neighbor came over to watch it with us. We were very excited when it came out, and then I was not in a mental place to watch that movie and pay attention. So I don't know. I've heard that it's really good, though.
Super good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What was the name of it again? Sorry.
Midnight Mass.
All right.
Coach, what are your shows to binge watch?
I'm a big X-Files guy. So I could watch X-Files like anytime. So X-Files is one of them. And then recently, like I could go back and watch The Mandalorian just because it gives me such a good feeling when I watch it, So Yeah, pretty much. I would say X-Files is my go-to because I watched that religiously in the 90s.
I've never
Did you
seen
record
it.
it to VHS when it aired?
DVD.
You recorded? Oh, well, no, I only asked because like the first show I remember binging was Friends, and my brother was like away at school where he didn't have cable, and so we would actually record Friends and Seinfeld for him, and so we just had hours and hours and hours of those two shows on VHS tape, and I just remember like spending all day Sunday just building Legos and just having that stuff on in the background, and I'm just like, I think I invented binge television, so you're welcome, world.
It's funny. Somewhere I have a VHS full of episodes of Beast Wars.
Hell yeah.
That show does not hold up, let me tell you. I went back in my memory. I was like, I cannot wait to see this again. And I YouTubed it, and that did not look like the way I thought it did when I was a kid.
You know what's bad
Yeah.
that doesn't? And I didn't watch it when it was coming out because I was already I think either in junior high or high school. But have you guys with the He-Man show that just recently was dropped on Netflix? Have you tried to watch any of the original episodes back in the day?
It's pretty rough.
Oh man, it's
pretty rough.
Yeah.
Austin, what are your go-to binge shows?
So I'm actually not much of a binge person, to be honest. I don't really binge too many shows, if ever. I used to a lot. I'd say probably the last one I did was Doctor Who. Just kind of, and that was probably around the time of like Peter Capaldi. So like the first like 9 or 10 seasons of new Doctor Who. I could watch those forever. And specifically though, the first 4 seasons.
Oh my god, yeah, the Russell T Davies era. Speaking of which,
yes,
Russell
speaking
T Davies,
of which,
baby, coming back.
I know. So yeah, that's probably mine. I'm trying to think of the last like news show that I binged. I think it was probably Parks and Rec. I watched that whole show in like maybe a couple weeks. So
awesome.
I adored that show.
Just a real quick shout out. I think The West Wing is a better show because you can watch it in quick succession. So I recommend that. I also know Fabio is a huge HBO head, and I know he loves the show Succession. And he's excited about that. Yeah. I'm excited for Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's coming out in October. And on October 1st, Seinfeld comes to Netflix. So I'm going to try to watch every episode of Seinfeld and then every episode of Curb before the new season.
I'm really excited to finish building my Lego Seinfeld set and watch Seinfeld on Netflix and just sit down all day and finish it up.
Oh, it's like when you watch Star Wars and you play with Star Wars action figures as a kid. It's going to be just like that.
Yeah. Or as an adult.
Or, sorry, I don't mean to age shame anyone.
The only HBO shows I've ever seen are seasons 1 through 4 of Game of Thrones and Chernobyl. That's it. I've never seen another HBO show.
They make a lot of good shows, man. The Wire like changed my life when I first
I've just never really had access to them, so like I didn't have a way to watch them. So
I have them on DVD. I have the series on DVD, but one series I'm surprised that's not on HBO Max, which it should be because it originally aired, was Tales from the Crypt.
That was an HBO show?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I'm almost
no
positive.
idea.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I lied. I also saw seasons 1 through 5 of True Blood.
I forgot that was an HBO show. That's a Showtime show. It does not belong on HBO. Kick it to the curb.
Yeah, you're right. HBO is too good to have a show like True Blood in its library.
I love
True Blood. It's just a horny CW show.
Sorry.
Yep.
Super horny CW show. God, Tales from the Crypt. It's probably a rights issue because that is so complicated. Because I remember there was like a Tales from the Crypt cartoon that CBS tried to do like in the early 90s, late 80s. All right. Well, there was some good recommendations. But Alden, I absolutely adore Friday Night Lights. And the soundtrack's awesome. I really recommend just going on YouTube and just finding Midwest emo playlists. Like literally just search Midwest emo. And then there's like a vibe that's just like a cold parking lot under a night bed of stars, or like, you know, being at my favorite place with my favorite people. Like there's just like so many different like situations that have just like a beautifully tailored Midwest emo. And it just sounds exactly like that show. I cannot recommend it enough. But I think that's enough dilly-dallying in the world of not Vigi games, so let's talk about some Vigi games. Would anyone like to go first? Just kidding. Coach, what have you been playing this week?
Well, once I got out of my funk, like for about two and a half, 3 weeks, I was just an emotional hot mess thinking that I was leaving. But recently I actually started playing Age of Calamity. And I tried when it first came out, but it just didn't grab me. And then once I learned Impa's moves, this more recently, I can't put that damn game down. And I'll say one thing about this game. It has the most beautiful and amazing cutscenes to tell a story. Like, where were those in the original Breath of the Wild game? Like, that would have helped the story a lot if Breath of the Wild had it. And I know it's like an open world game and stuff like that. And this one isn't. It has like a true story that it's telling the story of what happened before, 100 years before Link was put into the
cryostasis sleep.
The stasis room. So, and I just for a couple hours, I was just going back on missions, just learning all of her moves. And she's like my main character I play as. So, I just defeated the first champion, which is in, who is it? Who are the dolphin type guys? What are they?
Oh, the Zoras?
The Zoras, yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's really
the
cool. Yeah, the fish. the shamus, right?
Yes.
So it's really cool how they put the characters that were in the original game into there. It's really cool to see them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I've been playing. And of course, a week from Friday is Dread.
Hell yeah. Elijah, you want to quickly go over what you've been playing?
Sure. Really, the only thing that I've been playing that isn't Apex Legends or Genshin Impact is Death Stranding Director's Cut, which I am absolutely loving this time around. And I think the reason I didn't like it when I played on PS4 is I never stopped to ask, can you continue the game after you beat it? So I kept thinking I need to do all this stuff to get the platinum in the middle of the game, which was really, really wearing me down because I would just be constantly going back and forth doing stuff. And I wouldn't make it a podcast game or whatever because I just felt like something could happen story-wise. I'll just jump into something, but it never did. And by the time I got to chapter 5, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, even though I really enjoyed the story and such. But the way I'm playing it now, I'm absolutely adoring this game. I cannot wait to jump in more. But that's really it. I know I'll have 3 games to talk about next week, so keep an eye out.
Oh my god, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, keep a hand out so you can give Elijah a high five as he
Maybe your
cruises
toes.
right
Maybe
past
your
you.
Looking at you, Hot Wheels.
Austin, what have you been playing, my guy?
All right, George. So I'm just going to make this quick since I know we're like a full cast this week. More Deathloop. That's the main game I've been playing this week. Still love it. I won't really go into it. If you listen to last week, you kind of know my thoughts. My thoughts are the same. I think it's fantastic. And the only thing I could see potentially beating it out for my game of the year is Metroid. And so we'll see how that goes. But quickly, though, I did want to talk about the Halo Infinite beta, which I somehow got into last week or over the weekend. I didn't play a ton of it. I didn't have too much time because the beta was time based. So you had certain time slots every day that you could play in. And so I didn't have a ton of time to play it. I probably played at least maybe 6 or 7 matches though. And man, that game plays really, 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 really good. Just a major step up over 5. And not that the gameplay of 5 was bad. I love the gameplay of 5, but something about this really just really stood out to me as just stellar gameplay. I mean, it really feels like, and I mentioned this in our Frameskip Slack, the last kind of first person shooter multiplayer I really got into was Titanfall 2. And it really reminds me of that because it is so
hell
fluid.
yeah.
It is so fluid and
good.
it's so fast. And I love that. Like I just love fast shooters, and it's fantastic. I think it hits the perfect nail of like old school Halo, because it's, most of the maps you have like a few guns, like 2 or 3, which is like very old school Halo.
Yeah.
And I just adore it. So I cannot wait to play more this coming weekend. And honestly, like even if the campaign sucks, like I could for sure see myself just investing so much time into this multiplayer this fall.
Fabi and I played through every Halo game together during like the first part of the pandemic. Like I think it was like last June, like leading up to like my birthday.
Mhm.
And good grief, man. Like those games are just borderline perfect. I really think Halo is my favorite game as long as I'm playing it. And just hearing you even talk about it, I'm just like, when December 8th? Like, why isn't it November 8th? Why isn't it October 8th? Let's get it here as soon as possible. I am so excited for that freaking game. Fabio, what have you been playing, my guy?
I was playing Deathloop quite a bit, and it was too fun. So I went to something more moody. I took a break, and I've been playing, replaying. I've already finished Death Stranding, but just kind of picking up some of the new stuff. Playing my old save on that, and probably going to start a new save. And then also was trying to get the platinum for The Last of Us 2. And I think that might be kind of now one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's kind of cemented itself into that. But yeah, I've been playing that. And then Insurgency Sandstorm, I was playing the beta like crazy. And so I'm really excited for that to come out tomorrow.
We're going to need you to come on the podcast more in the future, because you play like hyper competitive tactical shooters in a way that my brain can't process. And that's just like a language I don't speak.
It helps a lot with my anxiety personally. It just helps me because like with other games, I can kind of like unfocus and just be anxious and think about other things. And I feel like something that requires that much attention kind of makes you not think about your real life. And it's just like, I have to focus so hard on my like actual mechanical movements that I feel like it helps focus me and like kind of line me up a little bit better. So yeah, I love tactical shooters.
Very cool. I played 2 games mostly. I finished Mass Effect 1, got the platinum, and It's just amazing when you roll into 2. Like, I think Mass Effect 1 is an incredible game, but then just like rolling into 2 is just like everything is like, it feels like it's made by a completely different team. Like, it feels like those games are 10 years apart, just in terms of technology, in terms of scope, in terms of ambition. In terms of storytelling, like it's just everything like feels more cinematic. It's just such like an impressive leap from 1 to 2, and I can't wait to finish more of 2. Like they just streamlined so much stuff, and just like, no, we know which parts of the games you really like, so let's just get you back into those as fast as possible. Besides that, I always make fun of visual novels, and I make fun of people who play them. No offense, Austin. No offense, Elijah.
I hate you. You're disgusting.
I found a visual novel game that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I played the original.
Boyfriend?
No, not Hat to Full Boyfriend.
Danganronpa?
No, I played the original Emily is Away back when it came out, I think, or back when it was available, back in like 2015. And this week, Emily is Away 2 is on sale for like $1.25, and I can play it on my Mac. And I grabbed it on my Mac, and good grief, you guys, that game is just Nostalgia Simulator 2006, and I love it. The entire game plays out in like an AIM client where you're just talking to your friends. And there's 2 girls in this game. One is named Evelyn, one is named Emily, and you're just chatting to them both. And the entire game is just you trying to have a conversation with both of them. And I guess it's like maintaining honesty and like making sure like your story doesn't get messed up as you talk to these 2 people. It was really strange because I remember being on AIM in 2006 and talking to people and trying to talk to girls about music and stuff like that. So this like was an actual time machine I got to walk in. But at other times, like these people would like these women would just like say things where like me as like a 31-year-old, I'm like, oh well, don't worry, like you're supposed to feel like that when you're 16. So it was like such a strange way of playing the game where I simultaneously felt like a contemporary of these two girls while then also feeling like, I don't know, like an older brother or like a parental figure or anything. So like there was no like romance when I played Emily's Away 2, and I like looked it up. Apparently that is like a possibility. You can romance one of these two people, but I don't know, just like the conversations were like fascinating, and the fact that like, you know, you'd say bye and then like add two E's at the end. I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that dumb stuff a lot when I was like a junior in high school. Absolutely. And yeah, I remember being like kind of like blown away when I found out like, wait, this girl I like, she drinks beer. Like I totally remember like that feeling, and it just captures like this excitement that like I don't know, like I feel like it's just so singular to like the teenage youth, and it's at least like mine, you know, from like when I grew up, because we are very much like the same day. Sorry, like born like very similar, like same day, same year, all that stuff. And so like their junior year is my junior year. It's just, oh god, it's incredible. I cannot recommend this game enough, especially for $1.25.
I literally just went on and bought it. Because I've been wanting to play. I've been wanting to play 2 and 3, and it being on sale for $1.24. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I immediately bought 3. I started it before this podcast, but I had to stop it to record this podcast, and that's all I've been playing. I will say though, I try to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Xbox every Wednesday now for triple XP. So if anyone's listening and wants to play that game, add me on Xbox, Flawless Loftus. Let's play. Let's get some of that XP. Let's cruise through it in co-op. It's been a lot of fun. I played with Fabio a bunch. I played with Austin a bunch. I'll play with anyone who wants to play.
And honestly, now George doesn't want to play with me apparently, and wants you guys to play with him. So that's cool. I guess
I want a full team.
Jeez.
I want a full team.
Honestly, if I were to be home tomorrow night, I would 100% be down. But it's the one night I'm not going to be home this week.
SOB. It's also double XP every weekend, and that's like when I can't decide what to play, I play Star Wars Battlefront 2. But we talked enough about games where we've been playing. Let's talk about games we cannot wait to play, specifically games coming to Nintendo platforms. So, last week, we were graced with a Nintendo Direct, I believe on the 23rd.
Yes.
And it was pretty hefty, right? Like, without talking specifically about what was announced, like, this was a really big feeling Direct, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Good. I'm glad it wasn't just me. I was kind of blown away by a bunch of the stuff they talked about. So how do you guys want to do this? You want me to just like run through the list, or do you want to just talk about what stood out to you? And
I figured we can do like we did for the PlayStation Showcase. We can just run down the list, and when we find something we have something to say about, we can say about it.
All right. First things first, Austin. I know you want to talk about this. Monster Hunter Rise, the Sunbreak expansion.
Let's go, baby. I'm so excited. Oh my god. I can't wait. The fact that they opened this Direct for me was like, okay, this Direct is perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the later 39 minutes that followed the best announcement I literally could have asked for. Yes, I'm so excited. It looks awesome. Really cool. The flagship monster looks so freaking cool.
Now, is that a new one?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
That's the new flagship. And so they're going to be showing more of it by the time this podcast goes up at TGS on the 30th. So I'm really looking forward to see that. And supposedly they're bringing back some fan favorite monsters. And I'm really hoping that some of them are from 4, because 4 has kind of gotten the shaft recently. And so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, cannot wait.
Sorry, are you worried about Andie breaking up with you when you inevitably buy a statue of that new flagship monster for your apartment?
Yes.
Yeah.
as somebody who owns like 100 of them behind me, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the answer is probably no, because I feel like she would also be like, yeah, we should get this.
Yeah, or I was like, oh yeah, she would have broken up with you 82 statues ago.
Yeah, so I cannot wait.
All right. Next up after that, we got Mario Party Superstars, a game I can't tell if I'm excited about, because I remember being really excited for the last Mario Party, and then they just kind of didn't really do a whole lot with it.
I'm surprised this isn't an expansion.
I am
like,
too.
I know it's like kind of like a remake, but or it has like old maps from older Mario parties, from what I understood. But
yeah, they announced a whole bunch of boards from like the N64 game, from the first two N64 games, and I think a couple from like GameCube and from Wii. Like I would love to get this if you guys are getting this, but it's also like,
I will.
Man, this should just be like a $30 expansion for.
Well, and I
for
agree.
The last
and
one.
The thing I will say, and I know they just like patched it in for the last Mario Party like a few months ago, but the fact that it finally has online multiplayer, that's a pretty big deal to me. So I think that would be fun if we all got it. But that would be the only situation probably in which I would buy it, is if we got it and knew we were going to play together.
I hate having people over at my home, but hey, I'll have as many of you as possible in a lobby somewhere. Let's do this.
There was a time when Mario Party, when their sport titles, they were like robust. They were good. They were deep. I mean, not necessarily deep, but there was a lot to them. But now with like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf being released with just, almost like a bare bones type of thing. And then
Sir, he's called Dry Bones. Thank you.
the last two Mario parties haven't been that good. They haven't been well received. It's interesting how, like, it seems like they're like just being lazy,
I feel that. I feel like that with a lot of the newer Nintendo releases. They don't take a lot of risks, it seems, and things start to look like they are in the same game, possibly. Like if you jammed up Mario, Tennis and Mario Golf and a couple other of the games that come out, I would have believed it was like a Mario Party game. Like they don't look that different from each other anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, I feel that.
I get that, but also I want to take you guys back to like May of the year 2000 in a chunky little George Loftus running off the school bus, running up a hill, trying to get home so he could just slam in the cart to Mario Party 2 and literally play it by himself. Like I used to absolutely love the Mario Party games so much. So I'm always tempted whenever there's a new one. I'm like, maybe this is the one. And so we'll talk about this in the Slack.
May 2000. I think that was when I went to my very first concert ever and saw LFO, Bewitched, and 18s.
Holy crap on a stick. Oh my God. Oh man. Can you imagine, like, those tickets right now, the reunion tour for that would sell for like $150.
I would buy it.
And I would consider paying it.
George,
I couldn't name a second song by Bewitched, but I would probably go see them.
I've got 3 of their albums over here. But LFO only ever had one hit song.
No, they didn't. They had a bunch. I don't want to hear that.
All I ever remember is Summer Girls.
No, they had Summer Girls. They had a Girl on TV. They had a bunch. They had a bunch. Also, they're British. Like what? Speaking of Elijah, though, next game I know you got really excited for. We got Voice of Cards: The Isle Dragon Roars.
Hell yeah! So this is from Yoko Taro, who created the Nier games, and this entire game, it's an RPG played out in cards. So like, not only are the battles played out in a card system, like the town is laid out in a card system, and like you move through the town with cards. It's in a card PG. And
can you play cards as cards? Like what happens to cards in the game? Like if you come across a card, how does that present itself?
I have no idea. You got yourself a real
game to find out
coming out there. But it looks so neat. There's a demo. I have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet, but I've been hearing nothing but good about it, and I'm so excited for it. Plus, it's Yoko Taro, so it's going to be wild AF.
Plus, it's Yoko Taro. Fabio, I think you're excited about this next one. Disco Elysium Final Cut.
Yeah. I'm super excited for that game. I haven't even finished it on PS5 because I'm a fake fan, mainly. But yeah, it's an incredible game, and I just love the way that game, like, no matter what choices you make, it will find a way to question your ideologies and the things you think are true to yourself. But it allows you to also play as a mad person, which is great. So yeah, can't recommend that game enough so far. And I'm just glad that it's like coming to every platform. That makes me really happy, even Xbox.
Makes me happy too. I think the Switch is probably like a great place to play it.
Yeah,
Just like being
definitely.
able to like lie down on the couch and just like have this while something's like just music's playing in the background or something, like just not
The
occupying your
music
entire.
is so beautiful in that game too. So like you can even just have that playing, and it's really nice, calming music. Like I think they use the song from British Sea Power with the band, which is really great. Yeah, I can't recommend that game enough. I'm considering repurchasing it just for my Switch.
Very cool. We'll talk about that because I might do that for a game later. Talk about it again. Coach, this next one might be for you. Age of Calamity, Guardian of Remembrance, new DLC coming out this month. You gonna finish the game in time to get some DLC?
No, I won't finish the game in time, but I know it's for Austin.
I thought you fell off.
No, I played all the way through it.
Oh, you
beat that
did?
game.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, when it came out, he was hooked. I remember how hooked you were.
Yeah,
You played a
I
lot.
love that game. I do want to get it. I just don't know if I'll get it right away. Between Deathloop and Metroid, and there's just a lot of stuff coming out, so I don't know if I can fit DLC for that game right now. But it does look good.
I mean, we're all buying Mario Party Superstars now, so that's another.
That's
one.
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
In that trailer, they like at one point someone says, "And they will give us this," and I'm just like, "Can you give us better frame rate?"
Ayo.
That's all I've ever heard about that game because it looks so neat. Because I love Hyrule Warriors, but everything I saw was like, it does not play well.
It runs better
fine.
though in the full game though, because the demo was rough.
Okay.
And the first level, which they for some reason show constantly, is rough. But the rest of the game, honestly, is not bad. I thought it was fine.
I haven't run into any issues. There's more issues in Breath of the Wild when the grass is wet and the sun hits it. There's more issues.
Just becoming a dunk on bot W, and I love it. I'm here for it.
I like this though because when they first announced the DLC for this game, they said that there was not going to be any story content, and then I guess they changed their mind because this has story content, so it's pretty neat.
The story is too important. The people have a right to know what happened 100 years ago in Hyrule.
We have to know.
A game that I can totally foresee myself getting if I get the right kind of drunk on the right kind of night. Chocobo GP Racing, baby.
Hell
Elijah,
yeah.
you look excited. Talk to me about this game.
So apparently this is a remake of Chocobo Grand Prix from the PS1.
Who can forget that game?
Which apparently was pretty good from what I hear. Like, it wasn't bad at all. And yeah, it's super adorable Final Fantasy Chocobo Racing. And I'm in. Like, you had me with all of those things.
I did like seeing the Black Mage really, really cute and really fast.
Yeah.
That made me happy. Turns out they do make enough beer for me to drink to buy this game, and I'm excited to find out just how much that is. After that, we got a tease for reveal for the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC character.
A tease in a direct for a direct.
Yeah.
And fun fact, that's not the only time this happens this direct.
How much would it cost? Do you guys know off the top of your head? I haven't played Smash Brothers really since like the first 6 months it came out. I don't think I bought any of the DLC. Do you guys know how much it would cost to get all the characters?
I think like if you already own the game, I think $60. Isn't it $30 for a pass?
No, I think it might be 25 a pass, I want to say. Yeah.
Okay, so 50.
I'll have to look at it.
And it doesn't double the amount of characters, right?
No.
Okay.
It's 10 total.
I thought it was 10. I thought there was 5.
Maybe it's 5 each. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually kind of steep. I'm kind of surprised to hear that. All right, I'll do some research. I'll get back to you, listeners. Don't worry about it. Next up, a game I am so excited for. The Last of Kirby. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's just Kirby going through like an apocalyptic wasteland.
I can't
going through shopping malls.
It looks so good.
It looks incredible.
So depressing. Like, what happened to the people? Did Kirby eat them? Are they dead? Like, what happened? And I like that setting a lot. Kirby.
I like to think of Kirby like the DC villain Vandal Savage, who just outlives all of humanity, and he's just like there. He's like, yeah, didn't build a rocket in time, so it looks like I'm stuck on Earth until either the sun explodes or the heat death of the universe, whichever happens first.
I like the fact that it looks like it's going to be semi-open world. You know, like it's not the typical side scroller. So it's exciting to see what that game's going to be like. And even though it's, it's a Kirby game, hopefully this will like inject some new, some adrenaline into the series.
I agree. I feel like it's at least every other game, if not every 3 Kirby games, where you're like, oh, damn, that's a video game. But like Kirby All-Stars, I was not terribly impressed with. Elijah, you look like you have something you'd like to say.
So I just looked it up. The first Fighter Pass is $24.99 and has 5 characters. Fighter Pass Volume 2 is $29.99 and has 6 characters. So it's $55 for 11 characters.
Yikes.
Okay.
At least they're honest and you know what you're getting instead of like EA and you're buying stupid packs and you don't know what you're getting.
My man's got a point. Coach the Kyle Newman has a point.
I don't know if it's steep personally. I think because they're adding, that's what, $5 a character.
Yeah, you get the character and some like lands,
Yeah,
like an arena and some music and such. I don't buy too many. I think I've bought like 3 fighting game DLCs in my life, and it was all for the newest Soul Calibur. So
I get that, but like when you're getting like, what was it, 55 characters with the base game? Like just in
like
terms
80
of
or something.
yeah, it's like
okay, 80
with
characters.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just like in terms of that, like that's the only thing. But it's just also like I feel like these characters are just more niche, and I'm like, oh well, the base game just speaks to me more anyway. But like, is this the last game? Are they just going to start porting this game, and then every time they port it to a new system, are they going to just introduce new characters then? Like,
I know that's the real question because it's like, how much more can they do at this point? I mean, they've
and like, are they saying that like the next Nintendo console won't have a Smash Brothers game because this is the last one? Like, yeah.
I mean, Mario Kart 8 came out a bunch of times. Like, it seems like I could absolutely see them doing the whole,
yeah, but
like...
it did come out, like... Well, good point. It came out with all the DLC on the Switch, which they could
Yeah,
do
so that's what I think that will
Smash.
probably do. That makes sense. And then probably maybe somewhere down the line, like a different type of Smash, but I could absolutely see them doing... like a Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it's just got like every part of the DLC, and then a few more characters can come out later on.
Now,
But Smash is good, unlike Mario Kart 8.
shut your mouth.
I love
Mario Kart 8's
Wow.
like a borderline.
millions of
perfect
people
game.
disagree with you, but how is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still in the top 5 each month? Like, did Nintendo make a deal with Satan or something like that back in the 1800s? When
Because it's the most accessible game on Switch. So when somebody goes to buy a Switch, here's a Mario game, and it's a kart racer. It's adorable. So like everybody that I know gets a Switch has Mario Kart 8.
It's also like one of the best racing games ever
Yes.
made.
That's what I was going to say too.
But it was the first game I got when I got a Switch. I literally bought a Switch on a whim to play with Austin in them when it came out. Like Mario Kart 8 came out. I found a Switch at the store that day, back when you still couldn't find Switches, and got it. And I only had money in my PayPal account and had to find a shady site to like buy an eShop card with money from PayPal in order to get Mario Kart 8 to play with them.
I think this is one of those situations where, like, going to like Coach's point too, like if you like, this is where PC players win because they can buy the game once and get every upgrade that comes out along the way. Like, how many times have we bought Skyrim? We're gonna keep buying it, and they know that. GTA 5's the same way. I just really wish they didn't charge $60 for the upgrade for console players. Like, it's obviously not necessary if they could do it on PC. So it's just gross.
Alan Wake Remastered
sad.
is basically already out on PC, if you think about it. So like, yeah, they already have that upgrade.
I'm just hoping that they take a break on Mario Kart and like give us something similar, but F-Zero.
Mm-hmm.
We need F-Zero back in our lives.
Yeah, I would get
like
that.
Even if it's just a remake of GX, right, for GameCube.
Such a good game.
That's what it was, right? GX.
Yeah, F-Zero GX.
And AX was the arcade cabinet, which I would love to have that one day to own.
Oh, that would be a cool cabinet to have.
But there's like, think of the online stuff we could do with that game, man. That would be just phenomenal. But I know Mario Kart 8 is their moneymaker, man. They're just like, they don't have to make another game the rest of their life. It'll be 20 years from now and it'll still be like in the top 10.
You're looking at about $6,000.
Yeah, because it's really good. Moving on.
$6,000.
We spent so much time on Mario Kart. They didn't even talk about Mario Kart. Sorry, guys. Sorry, listeners. We got distracted by nerd stuff.
You know what was not announced? A new Mario Kart game.
I know, right?
Animal Crossing New Horizons Focus Direct is coming in October. That was the other teaser that they mentioned that we were alluding to.
Dude, thank God they are updating this game because it has literally not gotten an update since like last fall, which is really frustrating. Yeah, it just dropped off the face of the earth. And this is the update everyone's been waiting for because it's got Brewster, of course, the famous coffee owl bird man.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
How could we forget Brewster?
Yeah.
I just remember the beginning of the pandemic. That sold a gazillion copies, man. That game just like, that will go down as Animal Crossing and the beginning of the pandemic.
Also known as Doom Eternal Day.
Yes,
that's right. Oh my gosh, that was awesome when they came out with those images with
that was really
Doom
cute.
Guy and
those images were adorable.
Yep.
I played like 40 hours of that game the week it came out, and I haven't touched it since. I'm like scared to go back to my island.
I went back for Halloween last year, and I think that was the last time.
That sounds fun. Oh yeah, I mean, you're
right. New Year's. New Year's. Andy and I were at home on New Year's, so we just booted up Animal Crossing and did that as the clock rolled over.
I don't think I've touched it since Bunny Day last year, and there's a reason I haven't touched it again. Bunny Day.
Last time I touched it was somebody's graduation.
Oh yeah, I did touch it then.
You know, taking this out of context sounds disgusting, I have to say.
Yeah, phrasing. Stop talking about touching it on our podcast. It's about video games, damn.
And on graduations and Bunny Day, man. Yikes.
Mario Golf Super Rush getting new courses and other free content. I believe Koopa was announced as a playable character.
Yep.
There was also a ninja character. I don't know who it is.
I forgot about that.
Now, are they adding to the campaign, or is it just courses you could play online?
I would assume it's just courses you can play online.
Yeah.
That's a shame, honestly, to make that campaign.
That campaign was amazing.
Wasn't it short though? Like 6 courses?
It was because you have to do like multiple different objectives on every course. So like it is the same course, but like they would like throw curveballs at you with certain conditions and with certain rules. God, I really, really love that game.
I like the actual gameplay of it when you're playing golf. I just am not a huge fan of like the structure of the design on that game. Like the story mode itself. Like it just going town to town to buy like garbage clothes that I never even liked. They weren't cute enough, George. Not cute enough clothes.
That's a good point. They were not. Next up, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the original game, is coming to Switch on November 11th. This is what I was alluding to earlier about a game that might be perfect on Switch. I still don't really like this game. I've played it a bunch. I don't think it's like a very fun video game. I'm going to buy it for like the 9th time when it comes to Switch. I'm going to be like, maybe this time will be the time. I don't think it will be.
Of all the games, this is the one that gets talked about the least on this Direct. From what I've seen.
I think it's because this game is already like pretty readily available. Like you can buy this on mobile, you can buy this on your Xbox, and like it runs great on your Xbox, like even on Xbox One.
I think the remake stuff really like took the steam out of it too, as far as like that was literally just announced like 2 weeks ago, and now they're like, yeah, by the way, here's the original. So
it might be a quick money grab. It's out on so many things that like at this point make a little bit of extra money, I guess, right before the remake comes out.
It's just like, bro, like I play this game on my iPhone 4, and like the game ran fine on iPhone 4. So it's like, all right, I'm supposed to be impressed because you released a 20-year-old game on like the price 4-year-old console 10 years after I bought it on my phone. Like, come on.
Luckily, Nintendo's not the ones in charge of putting the price point. Also, they put $59.99 for that thing.
And it would never change.
Yeah.
I know. It go down to $59.97 on Black Friday.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, mighty Nintendo gods. After that, Dying Light 2 is coming to Switch via the cloud on February 4th. This seems like the worst possible way to play this game, so I'm just going to skip this announcement.
Yeah.
Also, here, it doesn't mention, they did announce that the first Dying Light is coming to Switch October, I want to say.
Did they say that was cloud-based?
No,
or is that going to be a
the second
download?
one? The second one is cloud-based. The first one you can get download or physical.
Interesting. That's going to run like hell. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Tight. Triangle Strategy, the new game formerly known as Project Triangle Strategy. Sorry.
It worked for them last time. They'll do it again.
With Project Octopath Traveler. Yeah.
Yep.
They should have changed it to like
Switch.
Project Square Strategy or something.
Project Pentagon.
Well,
baby.
this naming scenario is a Square strategy.
Okay. I mean, it is really cool that they build infinite sequels into the actual titles of the game. Do you guys care about this game at all?
I do.
Coach?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm super
I mean,
excited.
like it looks really good. You know, I do want to get back into because it's strategy RPG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about getting back into playing some strategy RPGs. So that would be a fun one just to play. And I just love the look, the art style of that.
They're so good. Like, what they do with their games is amazing.
This is the I Am Setsuna team?
No, this is I think Octopath was their first game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get around to Octopath Traveler. I know it's on Game Pass. I have it downloaded. I've never touched it, but
Yeah, same.
I do like me some tactical RPGs. Like I love playing Three Houses, Final Fire Emblem Three Houses, but
Great game.
I could use without the art style. Like it's a great tactical game, but I don't know.
It looks like an MMO to me.
Yeah, this art style seems really appealing. I like it a lot.
This one seems cool too. And I really want to play Octopath on my Switch. I just don't want to pay $60 for it.
Actually, I'm finding Octopath a lot for like 30.
All right, well, just shoot me a link.
Free on Game Pass.
And it's on Game Pass.
I want to play it on my Switch.
That's fair.
Moving on. Metroid Dread, Austin. I know you're really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, they showed off. I haven't really been keeping up with the, what do they call it? Like the Dread reports or whatever they're saying. They've been releasing one every week for the past couple months. And I guess this was just the newest one that they showed off. But yeah, I mean, this game looks so good. And I didn't mention it in the games I've been playing because I didn't really want to kill time or anything. But I have been playing the remake of 2 on 3DS. And that has me a lot more excited for this because just kind of seeing this gameplay, it looks so smooth and just can't wait. I mean, it's next Friday, so I'm hoping I can beat Deathloop by then. That's my real goal.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Next up, they announced there's a expansion coming to Switch Online. We're gonna get more retro games from more consoles. We're getting games from the Sega Genesis, and we're also getting games from the Nintendo 64. Really quickly, the launch lineup for N64 is Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Sin and Punishment, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, Winback, which I've never heard of before, and
Yeah,
Yoshi's
baby.
Story.
Good old
with more
Winback.
games to come, including Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Snap, Majora's Mask, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, Mario Golf, hell yeah, Paper Mario, and F-Zero X. I'm not going to read off the Genesis games. Most importantly, during this, they announced that we are getting wireless controllers for the Switch for the Sega Genesis, like the original 1990 or 1989 Sega Genesis controller. 3 buttons, the A, B, and C button, as well as wireless N64 controllers. And I think this is fantastic news until they revealed that they were going to be $49.99 each, in which case I wanted to just jump in front of traffic because Nintendo always does such a good job of showing me something really cool and then just punching me in the mouth for ever wanting it.
Well, I did post in a couple of stuff on Twitter. You can get the Mayflash Nintendo 64 adapter, so you can use that controller that will plug into your Switch. So you don't have to spend $50 and you can still get that that feel of an original game, playing with the Nintendo 64 controller. Now, do you have an original Nintendo brand N64 controller, and how is the analog stick? And if both of those are good, the Mayflash adapter is only like $20. So, and that's good. And then as far as the people were complaining that Japan gets the 6-button Genesis controller and we get the 3. But if you go on to 8-Bit Do, they have a really, and I bought it for my the Mega SG. I bought their 6-button Genesis controller that I could also use on the Switch. And so you don't have to, you could still get that original gameplay feel with the controllers. You just gotta, kind of go out of your way. But I mean, it's just a $20 purchase on Amazon for the Mayflash adapter.
I want to give credit to them for something. So one of the Sega Genesis games coming is named Musha. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's a shoot 'em up that is super incredibly rare. Like, just the cartridge itself goes for almost $350. There is now a very easy way for people to be able to play this game without spending that money. Like, me, I like to have complete copies of games. This game goes for almost $1,000 complete. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't buy just the cartridge. So, like, I can finally play Musha, which I'm super excited about.
But that's when emulation is like, okay, come on. That's when emulation is okay.
Emulation isn't my style. That's a lie. I'm just not very good at doing it. I tried it with PS2. I tried to do a PS2 to play European games. It broke my computer. I don't know what I'm doing.
We also, as a podcast, I feel like we can't say we condone emulation. Right?
Well, you can, as long as you own the game.
Yeah, if it works. The game I was trying to play, I own. You just literally can't. You can't even play a European PS2 on an American TV. So, like, emulation is the only way I've got going, unless I literally import an old TV also, which I kind of want to do.
When I played Mario 64, when it came out on the 35th anniversary collection, I was really impressed with their emulator because there hasn't been a good Nintendo 64 emulator. So I knew at some point they had to do this. So the biggest thing for me for this that I was looking for was their emulator for Nintendo 64 games. And it's a good lineup. And there's so much more. Cough, Rogue Squadron, and Battle for Naboo.
Also, I mean, dude, with the way that like Microsoft and Nintendo have been chummy lately, like, I'm not ruling out Diddy Kong Racing. I'm not ruling out Perfect Dark. I'm not ruling out maybe even GoldenEye. Like, maybe that's super confusing now, just because like I think Amazon owns the license to James Bond now. Didn't they buy?
I didn't even know that.
I think they bought the catalog.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
So like that becomes murky there, but like I don't know. Like I think this is like really exciting about like a sort of partnership between the two of them existing.
I feel the opposite about this because I don't know. I just feel like Nintendo's a little too late with the library that they're deciding to release. I honestly, like, I love the idea of game preservation because, it's impossible to play some of these older games now. But I think that the game lineup that they're coming out with just doesn't make sense to my brain because they've already released an Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask remake on the 3DS. And then they already came out with Mario 64 remake. So I don't know. I know it's not exactly the same a 1-to-1 because of the changes that they've made, but I much would have rather see like GameCube or, even just like newer games like 3DS games that have no other way of playing them and you can't buy a console anymore. I would have liked to see those games come to the Switch more than the 64. And I know everyone's been begging for the 64 games to come out, but I think like the time that it took them to get to this point, now they've already remade the games, made better versions of them, in my opinion, at least. And, those are a little bit more readily available. And they, it just seems like a really strange decision to wait this long. And instead of just doing like GameCube where, you can't play most of those games anymore. I want to play Enter the Matrix again in a really great HD way. Give me that.
I just want you to know I'm playing Enter the Matrix again before the new movie comes out. I approve of your style. That game's terrible. I absolutely love it.
It's so bad. I was playing it a few months ago. It's great.
I agree. I can't believe that they just skipped over GameCube games when they were doing like virtual console stuff on Wii U. Like they went from like N64 to Wii games. That's like, you guys, you SOBs, how dare you? Moving on. Smaller announcements before like a bigger one. Shadowrun Trilogy coming to Switch. I don't know Shadowrun Trilogy. Does anyone here know that game series? All right, forging ahead. Castlevania Advance Collection.
Hell
this is
yeah.
awesome. This is awesome. Elijah, anything you want to say?
I'm so excited for this. I only ever get to play one of these games, so I need to actually. It's out now. I need to grab it. I'm so excited.
ActRaiser Renaissance available now on Switch. I am super excited to check this out this weekend. I heard about ActRaiser when I was like in college. It sounded like just the coolest game ever. And then I remember trying to play it on Virtual Console, and it's like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Not the side-scrolling combat sections; those are gorgeous, 16-bit sprite work. But like the actual sim part where you're God looks like butt. So I'm really excited to see this game remade. And we love a good shadow drop, don't we, boys?
Yeah. And of all games to shadow drop, I feel like ActRaiser is a pretty cool one. I have to say though, I think it's a little ugly. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I think
it's not the style I would have wanted it to be. Yeah. I'm with you.
It's kind of got like a pixel art, like clip art type background kind of feeling to me, and
well, it's like Nidhogg 2 almost, right?
Yeah,
like a little like ooh, you picked you like the different parts of this era of games than I do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Besides that, Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 came to Switch. I never played any of those games before, Deltarune or the other one, the big
Undertale.
one.
Undertale's great.
Yeah.
I will
have to check it out.
I got the platinum for it. Super easy. The game was okay to me. I can 100% see why people like it. I can totally get it. It just wasn't
charming.
For me. Yeah.
All right.
The music though, amazing. I listen to the soundtrack all the time.
God, game soundtracks underrated. They also announced the voice cast for like the Mario movie. I kind of want to dedicate more time than I think we have to this, so I think we should talk about this next week. Fabio, if you can come back next week, that'd be dope. If not, please record something on your own about the cast, and we'll just like drop it into the episode. There's a lot to say about the cast, I think, but too much to say because we're already an hour deep.
Yeah, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad is pretty much all you have to say. And
oh my god, Charlie Day as Luigi is just incredible. Damn it, we're doing it. All right, no, next week. Splatoon 3, which is just it looks like a Dreamcast ass game, and that gets me so excited. Like it looks so like a Jet Set Radio Future adjacent.
Dude, the story mode looks awesome because it's like the thing is, and I was talking to Coach about this the other day. I love Splatoon 2, but it was almost a carbon copy of Splatoon 1. I mean, they really didn't change much of anything. They had new maps and like new weapons, I guess. But it really like it felt like you were playing the same game to me. And this one looks like it has so much more unique and interesting content, with like the story mode being this like post-apocalyptic world and like just garbage everywhere, and you have this little like pet fish or whatever it is, and there's just weird interesting stuff that's happening, and I love it, and I can't wait for this game.
I really want to play the expansion to Splatoon 2, but that would require me to buy Splatoon 2, which is never on sale, and if it is, it's like $40. And I said I would play it when I could get the game and the expansion together for $40, and that's never happening. So it looks like I'm just playing 3.
I might have 2 copies of that game, Elijah. So once I move in and look at all my stuff, if I do, I'll send you out my extra copy.
You're the best. I legitimately really do want to play Splatoon.
Look at that, game. Bros loving bros. You love to see it.
Austin, do you think the reason why it felt like the first one is because they wanted to get it out on the Switch so quick? Because it released early on.
No, for sure. Because it was like a really quick turnaround. It was like Splatoon 1 had maybe been like 2 years before or something like that. It was like really quick. And so I think part of it was kind of just that they had seen that the game was successful on Wii U. You know, it had a lot of players, and the people that owned a Wii U pretty much owned Splatoon 1. But then when they saw the success of the Switch, I think they were kind of like, well, we need to like get this game over here and get it out there for people to play. Because I mean, you played a decent amount of it, right, Coach?
Yes. Yeah. And what was cool is it was a small group, but we were dedicated when we were in Saudi Arabia, you know?
Oh, you guys were playing in Saudi
Arabia?
Yeah,
play once. We would get TVs together and we were playing with each other.
That's awesome.
So we had a blast out there.
Is this a game you've ever had any interest in, Fabio?
Yeah, I loved the first Splatoon on Wii U. It came with it, and I probably would have bought it anyway. I adore that game, but I think my problem with Nintendo is I never like had a good team to play with. Like it's really, I don't think you need a whole lot of communication, but I think it's probably more fun with team members that you can chat with. And that was like obviously lacking on the Wii U and now on the Switch, unless you have a cell phone.
Oh god!
But yeah, I never played 2. I didn't get around to it. It's like it's been $60, like that was mentioned earlier. So I just never like I've been waiting for a sale for it, but it never happened. So yeah, I'll probably pick up 3 if I can get people to play with. It seems like a really fun, just like mindless party game.
Yeah, for sure, and it is a blast to play with other people.
Yeah.
They when you meet up and talk with other people as you're playing, it's so much fun. And there's even like a horde mode in 2, which they added in. That was like kind of the big new thing they added in 2, and that was a lot of fun. So
it was so fun.
Looking forward to see what they do with 3.
I like gang
2?
wars. Gang wars are great in that game. I want more of that.
Team Mayo.
In that case, God, Fabio, keep watching The Wire. You're gonna love season 4. This game though, like Splatoon 2 made me feel like a teenager in such a weird way, where like it did just get like excitement, like, you know, like tingly, like I'm so excited to jump into this weird thing I barely understand. Like that was how it made me feel like a teenager, where I'm just like, what the hell is this game I barely know anything about? And I really didn't even play it that much, which is why I'm so excited for 3, because I remember really enjoying 2, and I cannot wait to jump into this game.
Well, I mean, like, think about it though. You know, Nintendo, they're so, you know, you would never see Nintendo create a first-person shooter or even a third-person shooter, but they took the popularity and they made this game that runs so well online. And you're painting, you know, you're throwing down paints, and it's just a really good way to just have fun playing video games, you know?
Yeah. That's really well said. The emphasis on fun is pretty incredible.
Yep.
And then finally, Bayonetta 3. Austin, I know you're most excited, so why don't you start, and then we'll cascade. And
oh my god, I'm so excited for this game. And dude, the second I saw this trailer, I know some people apparently were fooled because that little, which I didn't play Astral Chain, so I didn't really get the connection, but that little like dog character they showed apparently is from Astral Chain. And so some people were like, oh, is this Astral Chain too? But no, the second I saw, like, maybe it was just because I was hopeful, but on the skyscraper in the background, like in the first 2 or 3 seconds of the trailer, it says Platinum. And I was like, okay, here we go. Bayonetta 3, here we go, baby. And I was so ready, and it was. And I was so excited. No, man, Bayonetta 2 specifically is one of my all-time favorite video games. Just because the gameplay is so fluid, and the world is fascinating to me, and the story is so good. And this is just a game I've been dying to play, and just so excited for. And so to finally see something aside from like that brief little thing they showed us like in 2017 or whatever it was.
Jeez. Yeah, it's been like 4 years, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2017. To finally see this and finally see gameplay and see the world and kind of the story hints, which I'm not going to spoil for people that haven't played Bayonetta, because Bayonetta, it really has a fascinating story to me. But kind of seeing the character and like her hair design and what that might mean for the story, it's just really, really interesting. And this, aside from Monster Hunter, Sunbreak was by far the biggest thing of the show for me.
Bayonetta looks like an Elijah game. I don't like Bayonetta. But
Oh, plot twist.
I want to give the first one another shot because even though I hear 2 is so much better, I don't want to pay Nintendo prices for 2 not knowing what I'm getting into. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give 1 another shot and see if it interests me enough to play through the first one, then I will look at getting 2. But I just remember back at the time when I played it, I could not get into it. Then again, I played it on apparently the worst system to play it on, and that was back
PS3, baby.
Yep. That was back before I enjoyed that style of game because I couldn't even get into the older Dead or Alive's, or not Dead or Alive, but Devil May Cry's before. And then after I played 5, I started the other ones. So
Well, they've
I'll
got
like
like the they've got like the Vanquish and Bayonetta like double pack, right, on PS4. Isn't that a thing?
Vanquish
Yeah,
is
that's probably a good place
great.
to play
God,
it.
you're right.
That's probably the best place to play the first game.
Yeah.
Or do you have a PC, Elijah?
I do.
Just
I'm
wait
not-
till
I'm not gonna play
December
it on
when it's
PC.
yeah, but if you wait till December, it's going to be like pennies on the dollar. So if you're worried about paying Nintendo prices, just get it on Steam.
I feel like he's going to want the Vanquish Bayonetta dual pack for his library.
Yeah, because I just brought that up. Yes. The thing I'll say too, Elijah, is you do need to play the first game before 2. So if you're not interested in 1, if you go back to it and play it again and you're still not interested, then I would just say that the series might not be for you, because story wise, I think it might be kind of hard to understand 2 without playing 1. Personally,
You'll never understand that haircut if you don't play the first one.
You are
Why'd
correct.
she get
You are correct.
bangs? Who hurt her? Why did she get bangs?
Did you know there's a movie?
What?
There's a Bayonetta movie?
Yeah, Bayonetta Bloody Fate.
Yeah,
Oh
there's,
yeah, isn't it like this? Is it animated
It's
or
animated.
CGI?
Animated, yeah. And the description gives me nothing. Samurai and video game vixen Bayonetta researches her mysterious origins.
I think it's
Okay.
Video Vixen.
I think it's takes place after 2.
I used to watch videos.
I think you're right.
Online. Yeah. All right. That was the final announcement. Fabio, do you have anything you want to say about Bayonetta?
I tried to play the first one and I couldn't get into it. It's I think I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. I really like Platinum Games, but that was just one of the series that I didn't like connect with right away. But yeah, I need to go back to trying that one out and figure out how that haircut happened.
My story is Elijah's story. It just ran like Bud on PS3, and that's what I was trying to play everything on back then. So never gave it a fair shake because of that. So, all right. Well, we just covered the Nintendo Direct from September 23rd. We're a little long, so I think we're going to cut it here. I do really want to talk about the Mario movie casting, so we're going to cover that next week. Whether we can get Fabio back or just get a little snippet from him will be super fun. So look forward to that next week. If you're listening to this podcast, that's great. That means you know how to listen to this podcast. Please tell your friends that they can listen to this podcast on every possible service they can imagine. I listen to it on an iOS app called Overcast. You can listen to it through the podcast app. You can listen to it through Spotify. Are we on Zune? Is that still a thing?
We can be on there if you want us to be, George.
If you need us at Zune, we can get to Zune.
Napster.
Yeah, we're available on LimeWire and Acquisition and other P2P networks.
Frostwire.
Don't tell Lars.
Oh God, I remember Frostwire. It's totally different than LimeWire, I promise. It's going to give your computer a completely different type of AIDS. Let's see. You can reach Coach at frameskippod on Twitter. You can reach Austin at Austin J. Eller on Twitter. You can reach Elijah at Loco Lizardman on Twitter. You can reach Seth, who's not here, at Seth the 90s Kid on Twitter. Please don't follow him, though.
Follow him.
You can reach myself at PurpleBird616 on Twitter. And Fabio, I'm going to let you decide. Do you want people to reach out to you on the Twitters?
Sure, why not? I'm at Sabio Fantana.
Yeah, so Fabio's name is Fabio Santana, so just switch the F and the S, and you got it, which is perfect.
So creative.
Because you're listening to Frame Skip, which is also an F and an S, so just swap that. So you're listening to Frame.
Wow, this was meant to be.
And you got it. See how easy it is. Thank you so much for listening to the 70th episode of Frame Skip, and we will be back in your ear next week. Smoochies.
Peace.
Thanks, y'all. for having me.
Love and war.